memories of treatment at Velindre are still actually very vivid, because it was quite a long time that I was under the care of Velindre. It was a very, very frightening time, and of course I had no certainty at that point that I would survive. And I think there are huge potential benefits in providing services closer to home for some patients. I appreciate that it can't be done for everybody, because there are always going to be people who have particularly complex needs or unusual, rare cancers, who need very specialised treatment. So there's a need for a centre where that excellent treatment, well, all the treatment should be excellent, but where that more complex treatment can be provided. But then there are other cancer patients who are going to have a more straightforward journey, for whom part, at least, of their treatment, or maybe even most or all of it, could be provided without the need to travel long distances, which can be extremely tiring and extremely debilitating, and one of the more difficult aspects of treatment, without having to do a lot of waiting at the end of that travel, because you're waiting for transport back again.
I think they're really thinking so much about what it's going to look like yet. I think we haven't got as far as that yet. But what I'm saying is, I still think that that's an important consideration, and we need to look at where we can provide the services in the community in a more comprehensive way. It's done here and there at the moment, but we need to go and investigate where those services could be provided in, for instance, medical centres, new GP centres, as we've got in Barry here, in hospices, in other charities, and of course in the local health boards. You know, it all needs to be drawn together. It's a very complicated animal, but Velindre has got a key element, and that element is that Velindre is already known. It's got an aura about it. You know, Velindre is very important as a name, synonymous with cancer care for patients, and I'm sure it's also the same for the medical staff as well. Let's build on that.
I've learned a lot from the TCS Workshops. Things I wouldn't have known about the NHS have been made a lot clearer, and I think the scale of the task is quite large. What with the new hospital, transforming the cancer care, improving survival rates, big tasks, and you know, with a lot of time and effort, and not least a lot of funding.
My name's Lisa. I was a breast cancer patient treated at Velindre in 2014. I was really pleased to be invited along to attend the workshops with Gail and the rest of the NHS team at Velindre. My opinions on offering patients chemotherapy, radiotherapy and other treatments, other cancer-related treatments closer to home is very positive. There are people who work full-time who need the flexibility to be able to go to a more local hospital for treatment. For me personally, I did prefer Velindre because it's a cancer centre. I felt more comfortable knowing that my treatment was going to be the best standard there was going to be. My concerns about delivering within the local health board would be would the service be the same, would the safety be the same. So I think they're things that would possibly need to be taken into consideration. And one final thing, I did experience being an inpatient at Velindre because I was ill with chemotherapy, and I would recommend offering patients the opportunity to possibly have individual single units on the wards.
Well, I've been a patient here at Velindre since 2008, so a while now. Gone through various different treatments, seen the hospital from various aspects, and I have nothing but praise for it. As far as the Trnasforming Cancer Services has gone, it's been a huge eye-opener. The amount of work that's going to have to go into it, and to try and improve what is already a fantastic service. You can't fault the service, but there are changes that need to be made. I've been having some radiotherapy recently, and I noticed a few people in the waiting room getting up at sort of 10 to 6 to come down from the valleys to make their early morning appointment. Things like that maybe need looking at. On the other hand, we don't want to lose a centre of excellence, so we want them to be able to come here and have all of that, rather than everything being devolved to a site. So I'm torn now. When I started on the start of the Trnasforming Cancer Service, I was all for devolving it all out and making it all easy for the patients, but now I've rethought, and I think that maybe there's a place for both. We need a centre of excellence here, and we also need satellite for people who are not so well to be able to get their treatment when they need it without having to travel too far.